Hello everyone, welcome to LUKMAAN IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 17th and 18th April 2021. So we have clubbed 2 days the Hindu analysis because last 2 days there was lockdown in the Delhi. So that's why we have clubbed together all these articles, important articles from 2 days. So let us see which are these important articles related to our mains examination and prelims examination. Let us take overview of these articles. First, exiting Afghanistan. So international relations GS2 paper perspective. So editorial page number 6 of 17th April newspaper. So the article is talking about the new date that have been decided that by September there will be total exit by US troops in Afghanistan. So this is the new decision taken here, and let's say there will be gradual withdrawal here. So article is analyzing this particular decision from various perspective of international relations. Okay, so we will discuss that. At the same time, there was recently Raisina Dialogue Summit that happened, that was conducted by our Ministry of External Affairs along with ORF, let's say Research Foundation. So at this platform, various, let's say, thinkers or political thinkers, even our external affairs minister, our prime minister had delivered their address. So we are going to take input from that aspect also related to this Afghanistan peace process. Next, vaccine diplomacy that needs specific clarifications. So from international relations perspective as well as COVID-19, what do you mean by vaccine diplomacy? At the same time, recent criticism that is going on, that why vaccines are being exported when there is shortage of supply of vaccines for domestic demand here. Okay, so what are these, let's say, the specific clarifications that are required or the reasons on behalf of the government? What government is saying about such reasons for export of these vaccines? All these aspects we are going to discuss here. Next, girls face more pressure during pandemic. So new study has been done in various states of India, and uniqueness of this study is that the questions were being asked by the adolescent girls of, let's say, belonging to different regions of these states, and they were asking the compatriots, or we can say that all the girls of the same age. Okay, so uniqueness of this study is this one, and the result is that the girls are facing more pressure during pandemic. Various inputs regarding some data, facts for essay paper, and impact of COVID-19 on society, especially on women, girls. Now, for prelims perspective, some articles like busted poaching in Pakistan shocks activists. So from environment perspective, Great Indian bustard, this particular species of bird, a critically endangered species having concentrated population in Desert National Park. So basic information about that, what are the threats, what is the conservation status, all these things we are going to take input here. Junta leader set to join ASEAN summit. Junta leader of Myanmar, it is talking about military leader of the Myanmar is going to join ASEAN summit. So from international organizations perspective, we are going to take input from, let's say, ASEAN. What is this regional organization that we have for Southeast Asian nations? Okay. Next, Ares facility will host the support center for Aditya L1. So what is this Aditya L1 particular space mission of ISRO that we have, and some basics about this mission and what will be the facilities for monitoring and control of this particular mission and its payloads. And lastly, India likely to receive normal monsoon. So Indian Meteorological Department, it is talking about that India will receive the normal monsoon. What do you mean by normal monsoon? Okay, so some facts, some information. At the same time, the article also mentions about Indian Ocean Dipole, La Nina, El Nino. So we will try to understand these concepts also. Now, let us go into details of all these articles one by one. Exiting Afghanistan. So Afghanistan peace process. So many such, let's say, decisions or conferences, meetings, regional groupings, they are discussing this Afghanistan peace process. At the same time, various countries in the region and all over the world have interest in peace in Afghanistan and surrounding region. So that's why it is being discussed. Along with that, the recent decision taken by US President that all US troops would be pulled out of Afghanistan by September 11, 2021. Okay, so earlier there was decision of that by 1st May 2021 all the troops will be pulled out. Now the decision is taken and this will be the gradual withdrawal of all troops. So basically whatever the agreement, February 2020 agreement that was done between Trump administration and Taliban, this is being respected by the new president also. What was this particular agreement between the Trump administration and Taliban in February 2020? Trump administration agreed of all, let's say, pull out of all US troops from Afghanistan, and in return Taliban promised that its soil, that is Afghanistan, in Afghanistan they will not help the terrorist organizations like Islamic State or Lashkar-e-Taiba to take roots in Afghanistan or carry out any terrorist activities in Afghanistan. This is how the agreement was there between Trump administration and Taliban, and now it is being respected by US. Also, a US initiated UN-led regional peace conference in Ankara, Turkey is going to take place on 24th April 2021, this month. However, Taliban has said that it will not attend such UN-led peace conference or summit meeting. Okay, so if Taliban is not joining this process, peace conference, then there will not be fruitful results, we can say, about this conference. At the same time, we have to understand the importance of US troops along with NATO troops being in Afghanistan to ensure peace. In recent times, we have seen the withdrawal of US troops and the increasing instances of targeted killings of journalists, activists and other civil society members opposed to Taliban. So there are always chances of increase in extremism or terrorist organizations taking root in Afghanistan and disturbing peace when these troops are withdrawn from Afghanistan. Okay, so that's why the US troops presence or military presence was very much important for maintaining peace and stability in Afghanistan and surrounding region. However, even after withdrawal, US has promised that it would continue remote assistance to the government. We don't know what kind of remote assistance that it is going to do. Surely it is not about the military presence. Maybe financial, technological, training purposes, all different things may be there, but remote assistance will be there. This is assured by US. Along with that, the role of regional players like Russia, China, India, they have important interest or strategic interest in Afghanistan peace process, and therefore their role will be crucial in deciding country's future. Okay, so this is how we have to understand the peace process in Afghanistan is very much important for the world along with India also. How we can see how our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, he was addressing to Raisina Dialogue Summit that happened in Delhi virtually at the this year. So while addressing that summit, he said that US decision to pull out all forces from Afghanistan is big step that will have deep consequences, and therefore he called for a responsible drawdown of American and NATO forces. Okay, you can use this word, responsible drawdown. Along with he said that it was necessary that Afghanistan's constitution, democratic processes and rights accorded to women and minorities were ensured under any circumstances, that the end game in Afghanistan be united, democratic and sovereign. Okay, and lastly he also said that India's role, including in construction of Afghanistan Parliament, the Salma Dam and road networks, was positive one, unlike other neighbors. So basically here other neighbors, he was referring to Pakistan, who has not taken positive role, rather here the negative role of Pakistan in, let's say, promoting terrorist activities in its country. So that's why we can say that India has always played positive role. You can mention such examples like India has helped to build the Afghanistan parliament. India has built the Salma Dam. Along with that, it has built the network of roads. At the same time, it has also trained the Afghanistan police forces. Okay, so this is the positive role, and India surely expects the regional peace in that region, peace in the country and peace in the region also. This is how double peace word has been used by our external affairs minister. Use this word in your answer. Again, I am repeating some some words, some terminologies of international relations. Even in GS paper, GS2 paper are important. Surely it is important for those having PSI optional, political science and international relations. However, it is also important that you use such terms in GS paper, GS2 paper, international relations, double peace, okay, because these are the words used by eminent personalities in these fields. Fine. So, Afghan peace process, these two articles are important. Try to have follow up on all these things. Next. Vaccine diplomacy, that needs specific clarifications. So the article is talking about or having the context that Minister of State of External let's say Affairs Ministry, he was let's say answering the questions in Parliament, and while giving answers to why there was a need, or let's say how the vaccines were exported to different countries. So India was sending vaccines abroad in the form of grant, first thing, second commercial sales of manufacturers, and third thing Gavi's COVAX facility. So under these three headings, the exports of vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines were being done in last 3 months, January, February, March, we can say especially. So this is how the answer is given by our Minister of State in the Parliament. Now we can understand that the supply of Gavi's COVAX facility is an obligation, since India is member of this coalition, Gavi coalition at the world level, because as we are providing these vaccines, India is going to be the receiver of the vaccines also under this Gavi facility. Okay, so yes, we have this obligation under this facility to provide this number of vaccines to its different members. However, we have to also understand that our traditional ethos talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, universal brotherhood, and surely unless and until everyone is safe, we are not safe. This is the philosophy that our let's say leaders, external affairs minister or prime minister is adopting while we are talking about this vaccine diplomacy. Okay, so this is very good statement of our prime minister at Raisina dialogue. We must think of entire humanity, not merely on those who are on our side of the borders. Humanity as whole must be at the center of our thinking and action. So can we say that this is analogous to our, let's say, objective resolution that was promulgated by Jawaharlal Nehru in Constituent Assembly in 1946? Yes, very much similar. Along with that, it is also in line with our traditional ethos that we have in our country, like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, universal brotherhood, Atithi Devo Bhava. All these are traditional ethos that we have, and we always focus on humanism. Okay, we give preference to humanism. So you can give the reference to the thinkers or leaders like Gandhi ji, Tagore, who always favored humanism, human values over nationalism. So vaccine nationalism that is going on at present, suppose there is question in ethics paper about vaccine nationalism, and we know that there is one topic in ethics paper, ethics in international relations. So there can be question, we can expect such question from vaccine nationalism, vaccine diplomacy. So there are two aspects in ethics in international. Yes, we know that international relations are either guided by idealism or realism, realpolitik or idealism. We can say that this is idealism. So yes, surely Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and all these philosophies have been guiding our foreign policies. However, the writer is of the view that we also need to consider the realpolitik, that means realism aspects of international relations. That means our foreign relations or let's say decisions involving the foreign relations should be guided by, let's say, or the utmost importance should be given to domestic interests or the interest of its citizens, interest of the country. Okay, so sure, all these decisions by our leaders will involve certain kinds of domestic interest also. And what are these interests? There should be specific clarifications about this. Because foreign policy or this vaccine diplomacy surely involves the real politic also. We want to project India as the real power in the country. India is showing its positive image since last 1 year. We had this, let's say, particular meeting of our Prime Minister last year with our SAARC nation countries, and we are providing all the let's say vaccines to poor or underdeveloped developing other countries, let's say as a grant or free of cost. So this is the positive image that we are creating in the world, and this is how we can say that our interest, this is the soft image that we are creating at the world level. Surely it is going to pay in future. Right. So this is how we have to understand all these aspects involved. Along with that, the government made estimates of vaccines to be sent abroad on the interplay of 3 factors. What are these 3 factors? Domestic production, first thing. Second, demands of national vaccine program. And third, request of vaccine manufactured in India. That is the request from the outside. Okay, this is how we have to understand, and surely our leaders are very much aware about the domestic demands of national vaccine program and domestic production. So they may have undertaken all these aspects while deciding. Surely in future course of actions, they will change this interplay of, let's say, these 3 different factors. There may be reduction of exports under grants, we can say that. Along with that, let's say commercial sales of manufacturers, and they can be diverted to ensure that domestic demand is fulfilled. Okay, so this is how we have to understand, but the writer is saying that the government or the leaders should come forward and provide specific clarifications. Right, so specific clarifications are needed to convince the people that these exports are not being made at the cost of their health. Otherwise, unless and until people are not communicated with the right, let's say, intent and the right answers, there will be lack of communication and chaos in the society. People will think that the government is not working for them, okay, or ensuring the health services to them, and rather it is exporting to the other countries. So we can say that this is very much required, or at present the need of the hour. Fine. So vaccine diplomacy, ethics in international relations, all these aspects. Along with that, COVID-19 as follow-up, we can expect the essay paper also on COVID-19 or vaccine nationalism, vaccine diplomacy. So you can take input here. Now, some facts, data, reports. One study that has been done regarding, let's say, impact of COVID-19 pandemic on girl children. Along with that, we can say adolescent girls. So the study titled COVID in Her Voice, a girl-led and centered participatory research study. Okay, so this has been, let's say, supported by UK government and conducted by Empower, a global philanthropy focus on the at-risk group in emerging markets. This is how the study is being sponsored and conducted. Now, what happened in this study is that the let's say child or girls, adolescent girls of, let's say, 13 to 15 age, they were selected from different regions, and they asked the other girls of their age different questions about COVID-19 pandemic and its impact they faced in last 1 year. So yes, among the biggest challenges girls face, inability to attend online schools. This was one of the biggest. This was a result of nearly 80% of respondents reporting an increase in household chores. So the household chores, being at home, household chores and the pressure of doing all these chores, let's say, was there on the adolescent girls, and because of that they were not able to attend online school or lectures. Second one, lack of access to the resources and technology was also the challenge. Along with that, those households from the marginal communities facing financial stress due to economic impact of COVID-19, girls were, let's say, married off or getting married, there was pressure to get married. This increased nearly 42% reporting this particular aspect. On concluding field in the research, 7 girl leaders finalized list of priority recommendations, which includes establishing girls friendly spaces within the community such as skills training centers and violence free spaces. You can give the way forward also. Okay, simple and effective at ground level, such kind of way forward should be mentioned whenever we are talking about the impact of COVID-19 on adolescent girls. Right. So, for mains perspective, society, GS1 paper, social justice, GS2 paper, GS4 ethics paper, and we can say essay paper, we can refer to this study and give some inputs here. So, impact on adolescent girls. Next, specifically prelims related. Yes, one incident that happened in Pakistan about Great Indian Bustard poaching, and it shocked the activists, especially in Rajasthan, and we know that this bird is critically endangered according to IUCN Red Data Book conservation status. Along with that, the highest protection is given to this bird in India, and we know that a very few population, 100 to 200 population of this bird is remaining. It is being, let's say, bred in the captivity also in Rajasthan in Desert National Park. So, all this information is mentioned in this article. So, we have to understand and take input here the basics about this particular bird. Yes. So, this is having the concentrated population at present in Desert National Park. There was one question in prelims examination about this Desert National Park, and one statement was talking about yes, Great Indian Bustard. So, the one statement about this Desert National Park, it was saying that it is spread over 2 districts of Rajasthan. Yes, surely it is spread over 2 districts, which are these Jaisalmer and Barmer. Okay, so it is spread over these 2 districts. Second statement in that question was regarding there is no settlement or, let's say, villages in this particular national park, something like that the statement was there, but there is settlements of villages, people live in the national park also in that particular. So, that is why that statement was wrong. And third one, it was talking about the habitat of Great Indian Bustard. So, yes, that it is the, let's say, important habitat of Great Indian Bustard. What are the threats to this particular let's say bird? Loss of habitat due to increase in population and agriculture in let's say construction activities, collision with electricity transmission lines. As these birds are heavy birds, they are not able to fly at higher, let's say, heights, and that is why they come easily in contact with these electricity lines and they die. Okay. Stray dogs attack bustard eggs and younger let's say children of these Great Indian bustards. Poaching outside the protected areas, all these are threats. Conservation status, this is important for prelims examination. Critically endangered declared in IUCN Red Data Book. Schedule 1, highest protection under Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. At the same time, recently it was added in Appendix 1 of CITES. Okay, so this is again important thing. Along with that, it was added in first Appendix 1 of let's say Convention on Migratory Species also. So, what happened in last year is there was one, let's say, conference of parties to Convention on Migratory Species. It was held in Gandhinagar in Gujarat, okay, India. So, India's proposal to include Great Indian Bustard, Asian Elephant and Bengal Floricon in Appendix 1 of UN Convention on Migratory Species. This was accepted during this particular summit. Along with that, the mascot of this particular COP was Gibi, that is Great Indian Bustard. Okay. So, you need to know the current affairs, contemporary affairs or those issues. This information is important along with basic information. Fine? Yes. Next. Junta leader set to join ASEAN summit. Junta leader, it is talking about Myanmar military officers. So they will be representing Myanmar in this ASEAN summit. So what is this ASEAN? ASEAN Association of Southeast Asian Nations. ASEAN is a regional economic and political grouping or forum. It was established in August 1967 through Bangkok Declaration. You need to remember this. Bangkok Declaration is related to ASEAN establishment. So by 5 founding countries. Which are these 5 countries? Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore and Philippines. These are the founding fathers of ASEAN. Later on, other 5 countries joined this grouping. Together at present there are 10 members. Which are the other? Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, PDR, Myanmar and Cambodia. Headquarter is in Jakarta, Indonesia, and motto is one vision, one identity, one community. This is the motto of ASEAN. So you need to remember all these things. Location wise, you can see Indonesia, Singapore, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, Laos, PDR and Cambodia, Myanmar, Thailand. Okay, so one of the important we can say regional grouping, and it is having very much economic integration. Highly integrated region economically, and together we can say they are taking very much good decisions. Recently the important decision about RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, so ASEAN plus 5. ASEAN plus 5. RCEP is ASEAN plus 5. So it was negotiated and finalized. India backed out from these negotiations. So Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, this is important. Last year there was question about this. Which are these 5 countries? These 5 countries are those countries which are having the free trade agreement with ASEAN trade bloc. Okay, so that's why the negotiations were going on with these countries. Okay, yes. Next. Ares facility will host support center for Aditya L1. So it is talking about the support center, new support center that was required to monitor and coordinate work on various payloads on this Aditya L1 space mission, and this role will be played by Ares, Aryabhatta Research Institute for Observation Science. This facility is situated near Nainital. Okay, so that's why it is in news. This particular support center will be under the aegis of Ares. Now what is this Aditya L1? This Aditya L1 is space probe of ISRO that is going to be launched next year 2022. This is going to study the region between sun and the earth. Okay, the surface of the sun and the space between sun and the earth. So it will carry such 7 payloads which are being designed by different research institutes in the country. Along with that, the main aim of this particular center is to be established to let the researchers in India perform analysis over scientific data obtained from Aditya L1. This is particular let's say main aim. Now this Aditya L1, already the Aditya mission that was there, the probe, however now it is being revised, that is now called as Aditya L1. This is to be inserted in halo orbit around the L1, which is 1.5 million kilometer from the earth. Okay, this is going to orbit sun at this particular distance, right? So this is the L1 orbit, that's why it is called as the Aditya L1 now. Okay, yes. So from space science, space technology perspective, you have to take inputs here. Now next, India likely to receive normal monsoon, IMD. So yes, India Meteorological Department from time to time gives such forecast. Now for next year it is saying that there will be normal monsoon. What do you mean by normal monsoon according to IMD? This is important. It refers to a range, not exact fact, rather range of 96% to 10% of long period average. What is long period average in India? 88 centimeter. Long period average of monsoon rainfall that we have is 88 centimeter in India, right. So this is normal monsoon, 96% to 104. If it is less than 96% of this so LPA, long period average, then there will be, let's say, less than normal, and if it is more than 104%, then it will be more than normal, right. Along with that, it also had certain, let's say, wrong forecast. In 2019, IMD forecasted 96% of LPA, but we had excess rainfall of 110%. In 2020 also it said 100% of LPA, but again 109%. So last consecutive 2 years we had excess rainfall than normal. And the reasons provided by the officials of IMD that in 2019 the IOD was positive IOD. Okay, Indian Ocean Dipole. Now what do you mean by Indian Ocean Dipole? Yes, so this is the let's say a kind of, let's say, positive and negative bands created on the surface ocean temperature of Indian Ocean. Okay, so what happens is whenever there is, let's say, excessive positive, or we can say warmer temperatures in the western Indian Ocean region, there will be some lower temperatures in the eastern Indian Ocean. Okay, this is how the positive and negative Indian Ocean Dipole. Now what is positive Indian Ocean Dipole? In eastern Indian Ocean region there will be warmer temperatures, in western Indian Ocean there will be, let's say, lower temperatures. Okay, ocean surface temperatures. So because of that, what happens is it fuels further excess rainfall in India during this monsoon time period. Okay, so this IOD defined as swing in temperatures in western and eastern sections of Indian Ocean, where a positive phase usually corresponds to good rains over India, contributed to excess rains during 2019. GS1 paper geography part, you need to remember the reasons for excess rainfall in 2019. 2020, what happened is it was La Nina year, the converse of El Nino and associated with cooling of equatorial central Pacific, again feature correlated with heavy India rains. Now what do you mean by El Nino and La Nina? This is important. El Nino is, let's say, abnormal arrival of colder temperatures, warmer temperatures on the Peru coast. Okay, already there is cold current, Peru current that is going on in the, let's say, coast of Peru in southern America continent. So what happens is there is arrival of warmer temperatures, sudden arrival of warmer temperatures, and because of that what it weakens the Walker cell circulations there, and it reverses whatever the pressure conditions are created in Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, right. So because of that the monsoon is weakened. There is correlation between El Nino year and monsoon rainfall in India. Now La Nina is, to some extent, it strengthens the Walker circulation, it strengthens the high pressure region created in the western Pacific Ocean along the Peru coast. It strengthens the cold current in that region, and warmer temperatures are there in equatorial central Pacific, or sorry, cooling of equatorial central Pacific, that particular region along the Peru coast. And because of that what happens, it strengthens the high pressure in that region and it strengthens the Walker cell circulation. La Nina is correlated with, we can say, higher rainfall in India during monsoon times. So that's why in 2020, due to La Nina year, we had this higher rainfall, though IMD had suggested there will be normal monsoon. This is how some geography concepts we have to understand them. They are important for prelims as well as mains examination. Fine. And lastly, some important captions and quotations. That vaccine diplomacy article that we have. So from ethics paper, GS4 as well as essay paper on vaccine diplomacy, vaccine nationalism. Equitable access to vaccine is critically important. No one will be safe till everyone is safe. This is the statement of our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar at Raisina Dialogue, and our Prime Minister had also said the similar kind of statement. We must think of entire humanity and not merely on those who are on our side of borders. Humanity as whole must be at the center of our thinking and action. We can say that this is the idealism aspect of international relations or foreign relations that we have here. Okay, so these are important captions you can use here in ethics paper, GS4 part and essay paper also. Fine. So yes, these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information on editorial discussion classes or ED classes, wherein in-depth analysis of mains related issues and articles is done by Ansari Sir and team, you can contact LUKMAAN IAS. Thank you.